Guess who's back in the house? Heels click, click, The Renaissance, a time where art, fashion, and beauty standards all reverted back to Roman ideas. A time where nature, humanistic learning, individualism were at the front of every creative's mind. A time where the ideal woman had pale skin with rosy cheeks and a fuller, curvier figure and a face that projected warmth and femininity and motherhood and serenity. As the centuries flew by, that ideal keeps on changing, and now we're in the 21st century. It's almost as if in today's society, everyone wants to look the same in the same unachievable way. So much so that people my age and younger are starting to look for individualism. And that's where people like Alana came into play. Today, I'll be talking about two things that have come out in recent weeks, not to drag her or to try to send hate towards her, but simply to bring awareness to the situation. Because in recent weeks, not only has she been collabing with AI companies, she's also been revealed to have liked some not so great stuff. Before that though, hi, hello. If you've been a viewer of my channel, hi. It's been a while. Yeah, I don't really have a good excuse. I just kind of lost passion and I got kind of burned out. And also I have a chronic illness, so my body was just kind of like down in the for a few months. I don't know if this is like me coming back and now posting again regularly or if this is a once in a while thing, but we'll figure it out, right? Right, guys? Also, here's my usual disclaimer. I'm going to be looking to the side of my camera quite a bit. I have a script written out because I'm too stupid to remember everything I want to talk about. So if you see me looking to the side, it's because I'm trying to get everything I want to say across. Yay. Now, as I said, she has two controversies going on at the same time. It's great, it's lovely. And I'm going to start with the AI one first. In videos now taken down, Alana collaborated with Meta AI to put herself into Renaissance paintings, which left a sour taste in the mouths of the artists, the real artists who painted her, because she's known for saying like, oh, please draw me, please paint me, use me as your creative, inspiration. And then she stabs him in the back by, collabing with AI. One of those artists, as they said in their TikTok, as an artist who drew her, I feel so disrespected. It's so strange to me to see a person who asked artists to draw them for free and who eventually had some collaborations with real artists just betray them and prefer a corporation that takes real art to train their AI. For me, it's almost like you don't respect the community that supports you. It also doesn't help that Alana just straight up ignored the comments calling her out. Her comments were flooded. She's just ignoring them. But she keeps posting the art that real people drew on her story. When eventually, TikToks and reels about this entire situation started flooding in, she took to one creator's comments to say, I find it extremely disappointing how you're spreading hate, especially in the world we live in today. Did you really need to profit off of sharing your hateful interactions with me? Which, as you'll see later, is extremely ironic. Before I talk about that though, I know most of my audience knows not to use AI and is well aware of the horrors that come with using AI. But in case you didn't know, I'd like to take this part of the video to educate you. Some of the biggest concerns about AI in a societal point of view are automation spurred job loss, deepfakes and social manipulation, socioeconomic inequality, privacy violations, algorithmic bias caused by bad data, weapons and military automatization, market violations, increased criminal activity and child safety risks, and psychological harm and over-reliance. Big companies behind AI are known to be tight-lipped over the ethics and the workings of their AI, which makes everything more concerning and frankly a little bit scary. Former employees of those companies have accused them of concealing the potential harm and danger of their tools. If we look at the first point, the mass loss of employment, we see that as more of this technology is adapted into marketing, manufacturing, and healthcare, there is a big chance that by 2030, 30% of hours currently worked in the US will be automated. Goldman Sachs even states that 300 million jobs could be lost to AI. Now, you could also argue that there is an estimate that AI could create 170 million new jobs by 2030. But even that argument is flawed when you realize that a lot of the current employees won't have the skills needed and could be dropped by their companies if they don't keep up with the system. As Martin Ford told Bulletin.com, if you're flipping burgers at McDonald's and more automation comes in, is one of these new jobs going to be a good match for you? Or is it likely that the new job requires lots of education or training, or maybe even intrinsic talents, really strong interpersonal skills or creativity that you might not have? Because those are the things that, at least so far, computers are not very good at. When we look at the social manipulations, not only do deepfakes come to mind, but also the TikTok and the Instagram algorithm. TikTok and Instagram both heavily rely on AI algorithms to push content it thinks you like based on your previous interactions on the platform. What it often fails to do, however, is filter out any harmful or incorrect content. And I mean, I think we've all seen at least one thing we didn't really want to see while doom scrolling, but then more of that stuff keeps popping up because it pops up once and you looked at it a little bit too long, and now it's gonna think you like it, and it's gonna keep popping up and popping up, popping up. And maybe you've even reported that same content. But if you have, you'll also know that more often than not, the AI will give you a message saying the content you reported doesn't break community guidelines, even though we, as human beings, can see that it does, and the AI somehow cannot. And I mean, the opposite also happens. So many creators have spoken out about their videos wrongfully being deleted simply because the AI found something wrong with it, which has also caused these companies to hire people to actually filter through and teach their AI what is deemed as not good content. People have been subjected to SA or and a lot of other awful stuff simply to train AI to take that shit away from the internet. On top of that, AI raises another social concern: deepfakes. AI-generated videos and images have infiltrated social and political scapes. Some of them clearly fake, but some of them accurate enough to fool entire groups of people. It is said that deepfake files have surged from 500,000 in 2023 to a projected 8 million in 2025, which also makes fraud attempts spike by 3,000% in 2023, another 26% in 2024, with a 475% increase in synthetic voice fraud. 96 to 98% of deepfake content consists of non-consensual intimate imagery. 99 to 100% of deepfake porn is female. Taylor Swift alone, whether you like the woman or not, has been targeted 11 times, and it doesn't just happen to celebrities. 62% of adult women in the US said they were concerned about the spread of AI-created video and audio deepfakes in August 2023. Now, a prime example of surveillance by AI would be China's use of facial recognition technology in offices, schools, and other venues, or the US police departments using these algorithms to anticipate where crimes will occur. Now, the problem with that is that these algorithms are influenced by arrest rates, which we all know disproportionately impact Black communities. And that then causes these police departments to double down on these communities, leading to over-policing and mostly more police brutality towards Black communities and other minorities, which then trains the AI that there is more crime, and then you see what I'm getting at? You see what I'm getting at. Another lovely fact is that AI companies don't give any fuck about privacy of its users. In 2023, ChatGPT allowed some users to see titles from other active users' chat history. The Meta AI app offers a public discover feed that lets other users see other people's personal chats with these chatbots. In 2025, people found the Grok chatbot made users' conversations searchable on search engines like Google, Bing, DuckDuckGo without warning, and Google estimated to have over 370,000 Grok conversations. On top of that, AI-powered devices like Alexa can track and process every voice recording that's shared with them. Worst of all, while there are laws present to protect personal information in some cases in the United States, there is no explicit federal law that protects citizens from data privacy harm caused by AI. Now, taking a look at these biases and therefore inequalities caused by AI, Olga Rusakovsky, a professor at Princeton, spoke to the New York Times about this topic, saying, AI researchers are primarily people who are male, who come from a certain racial demographic, who grew up in high socioeconomic areas, primarily people without disabilities. We're a fairly homogeneous population. Is that how you say it in English? I don't know. So it's a challenge to think broadly about world issues. AI is developed by humans, and humans, whether you like it or not, are inherently biased. According to UNESCO, only 100 of the world's 7,000 natural languages have been used to train AI. And since 90% of online higher education materials are already produced by countries in the EU and North America, it further restricts AI training to mostly Western resources. The last three dangers of AI I want to explain in a bit more detail are the increased potential harm towards children, the impact in mental health, and the risks it poses to the climate and the environment. As if deepfakes aren't bad enough, online predators can now also generate images of children, making it difficult for law enforcement to determine actual cases of child abuse versus the sickos who generate CSAM for their own pleasure. And even in the cases where children aren't physically being harmed, the use of children's faces in AI-generated images presents a new challenge for protecting children's online privacy and digital safety. Although these children don't actually exist, the AI is still trained with pictures of real children. And it's not just deepfakes or fully AI-generated images, but chatbots themselves also negatively impact child's safety. In 2025, it was found that Meta AI had policies that allowed the chatbots to have romantic conversations with children. Not just that, there are also stuffed toys with built-in AI chatbots marketed for young children, where collected data can be sent to third-party companies like OpenAI or Perplexity AI. When we look at how AI influences our mental health, it's important to note that mental health care, like therapy and medication, can also be hard to get. Therapists, psychologists, psychiatrists, and other people within that care have waiting periods of weeks, if not months. Starting up regular sessions can also be incredibly difficult to schedule for you and the therapist. And if that's not the issue, then maybe the cost is something that also makes it difficult. I'm lucky I live in a country where insurance covers a big part of not only my therapy, but also my medication. But it's still a lot. I can't imagine what it's like in countries where healthcare doesn't really care about the mental health aspect. And that's why, if I look at it with an open mind, I can understand the appeal of using AI as your therapist, but that doesn't change the fact it's a really bad idea. One of the most pressing concerns is that AI is now being used as a primary source of knowledge and decision making. Rather than acting as a supplement to human thinking, many are now using it as a substitute, which could lead to a decline in skills like creativity and critical thinking. I mean, how many people are there that are now openly admitting to writing entire essays with AI? How many people are there openly admitting to making job applications with AI? How many people are using AI art instead of creating real art? A cross-national academic study examined students in Pakistan and in China and found that individuals who overly rely on AI are exhibiting a loss of decision-making skills. Outside of the classroom, there are concerns that AI affects mental health conditions by attempting to help or encourage harmful behaviors instead of directing them to medical professionals. Some users have even turned to chatbots for human companionship and relationships, idealizing the technology as a real person or even godlike in some cases. And I mean, we've all seen the clips of people, no matter their gender or their age, in relationships with AI chatbots. If not that, then maybe you've seen the girl who fell in love with her psychiatrist and then got her pretty much psychotic state fueled by AI, and then AI also referring to her as the Oracle. I'm not laughing at the situation, imagine explaining that to a Victorian child. You've probably seen at least one of the cases, plural, of someone taking their own life due to AI refusing to direct them to help or even egging them on. Lastly, AI models have caused a 10-time increase in computing power usage between 2018 and 2022. In 2024, data centers accounted for about 1.5% of the world's electricity consumption, and it's expected to double to 945 terawatt hours by 2030. And that would potentially exceed Japan's current total electricity consumption. What the fuck are we doing? Those data centers have already started threatening local water supplies in certain areas, which makes the fact that in 2026, global AI training and use is thought to account for 4.2 to 6.6 billion cubic meter of water withdrawal even scarier. I don't like the fact people are just being like, haha, I use ChatGPT for my essays. A big part of the environmental issues AI causes are also rooted in inequality. Who would have thunk? Studies have already shown how power plants are most likely to be constructed in black neighborhoods, like in Bessemer, Alabama, a predominantly black neighborhood where NAACP leader Bernard Simelton has been protesting the possible building of a data center. At first, you might say, well, this is progress, right? I mean, it would promise some jobs and innovation, but we have to look at the situation up close. It would mean that 700 acres of forest would be destroyed. 2 million gallons of water a day would be swallowed up, and enough electricity to power a city the size of Seattle would be used up. For people who are already living in these towns big companies have settled in, the cost of utilities have gone through the roof, facing electricity bills that have increased by 267%. And for those living in rural communities near data centers, it only gets worse. Residents are reporting the water from their taps to be brown and murky if it even runs at all. In South Memphis, Tennessee, there's a neighborhood called Boxtown, which people living in are already paying the price of the AI uprise. Boxtown's community was founded by formerly enslaved people who built homes out of discarded railroad boxcars, showing their resilience, yet they are now facing a new challenge. XAI is poisoning their air. Environmental groups use thermal imaging to discover 33 gas turbines, which emit an estimated 1,200 to 2,000 tons of nitrogen oxides annually. And in a neighborhood where cancer rates are already 4 times higher due to industrial contamination, respiratory problems and smog are not something that they really need. So, all in all, maybe using AI for something that artists have been doing for you for free isn't a great choice, Alana. Sadly, like I said, this isn't the worst thing that's come out about her. Remember how she said, I find it extremely disappointing how you're spreading hate, especially in the world we live in today, and how it was incredibly ironic? Well, what if I tell you our dear Alana is a white supremacist? Yep, the embodiment of the Renaissance beauty standard from Australia has had some videos she's liked combined, and it's not a good look. It's not a good look. Why is it perfectly fine to say that Asians have a higher IQ than Caucasians, but saying that Caucasians have a higher IQ than Africans is considered a hate crime? Propaganda I'm not falling for. Western guilt, modern architecture, meatless sausages, positive discrimination, chargeable cars, more than 2 genders, frappuccino, toxic masculinity, and Dubai. If positive discrimination is not something you stand for, then are you proudly proclaiming that you love discriminating? Imagine protesting in a country you broke into illegally with flags from a country you refuse to live in. She takes it a step further by actively downplaying the taking place in Gaza by talking to other people in their DMs saying, the other angles filmed also, this is staged to make you feel sorry. I'm gonna give you a warning now. Although Alana is a white supremacist, she can't type for shit. My native language is not English. I live in a country that speaks 3 languages and none of them are English. She's Australian. English is her native language. I can't tell what the fuck she's trying to say 9 times out of 10. She doesn't use punctuation. Her grammar doesn't make sense. She writes like words grouped together that don't make any sense. It feels like incoherent rambling. So I'm gonna read exactly what she writes, and maybe you can make sense of some of the shit she's been saying, because Overall, I will simply conclude I do not support war and I do not like war propaganda. I will cite to the truth and statistical evidence in these matters always. Okay, Mr. Researcher. Okay. Did you know 83% of Gaza has already been destroyed? Also, I do not support war. Crazy take here, guys. Next thing you know, she's gonna say something like another crazy statement like murder is bad. This isn't where the madness ends though, because she continues her ramblings with no denial about the topic. That quarrel in a faraway country between of whom we know nothing I do not want to promote or deny. Children are dying on both sides of war. What I will stand behind and not tolerate is the mass immigration leveraging from the war to invade European countries and then be illegally housed and fed from taxpayers' dollars to then claim benefits and stay in the country. The rape reports have skyrocketed, amount of is ridiculous, the state of Europe is in decline, I suppose I would side with nationalism. When I tell you the first time I read this, my jaw fucking dropped to the floor. Like, are you for real? Are you for real? Like, these read as incoherent ramblings from your racist grandma, but no, Alana is a young woman writing like this. I want to deconstruct that though, because that quarrel in a faraway country between of whom we know nothing I do not want to promote nor deny, children are dying on both sides of war. Hey Lana, crazy idea, but have you ever heard of the word empathy? Crazy concept. Caring for people without fully being able to understand their situation? Don't get me started about how fucking angry the children are dying on both sides of war argument makes me. Correct, yeah, no shit. There are people losing their lives on both sides. But if we put the number of 69,263 Palestinians, which is also going up every single day, against the 1,983 lives lost by Israelis, I think it's not too difficult to see where one should stand in this conflict. A lot of Germans died in World War II. Does that change the fuck happened in World War II? What I will stand behind and not tolerate is the mass immigration leveraging from the war to invade European countries and then be illegally housed and fed from taxpayers' dollars to claim benefits and stay in the country. Dollars and Europeans in the same sentence. If you're gonna be racist, at least like be correct. Can't say that. What do you suggest people at war do, Alana? Because I know damn right that if you felt unsafe in Australia, let's not forget she's from Australia, she'd be moving too. Since she's from Australia, I guess it's a little difficult for Alana to see how a lot of European countries are already facing a housing crisis as is. Most of us are also seeing a surge in cost of living, but that's not due to immigrants, dear Alana, that is due to greedy politicians. But I digress. Reports have skyrocketed. The amount of is ridiculous. Be so f***ing for real. The state of Europe is in decline. I suppose I would side with nationalism. How the fuck are you gonna be a European a European nationalist as an Australian? Miss Girl, do you know that if you were to move to Europe, the continent by the way, which I hate when people talk about Europe like it's a fucking country, but if she would move to Europe, she would also be an immigrant? Spewing hate is one thing, but spewing hate in the name of an entire fucking continent you're not even a part of? Get a grip. Now, the previous screenshots I've shown you have been provided by Alessandra on Instagram, and when I contacted her, she shared a conversation she had with Alana just a few days ago, where she dug her own grave even deeper. Now, this is gonna be incoherent. Again, I tried to make it a little coherent by summarizing it because it's like 30 screenshots. I tried to make it coherent, but 9 times out of 10, it took me and Alessandra putting both our brains together just to figure out what the fuck she was saying. It feels like she's been using ChatGPT, but ChatGPT uses punctuation, so I just think she's out of her mind. That's mean. Okay, that's mean. That's mean. Alana is the one who reaches out first, and she's basically saying that she wants to have an open discussion, probably because Alessandra has been quite active in calling her out, and because she tried to make a friend of Alana aware of the situation that was going on. More of that, I think, can be found on Alessandra's Instagram, since it's important to hear her tell the story, and because it's a lot. And honestly, she answers Alana very, very kindly, in my opinion, starting that she's willing to have a discussion, but that Alana's actions can be ignored. Alana then comes back by basically saying that people are being mean to her and people are calling her names, and that she doesn't associate with the term Zionist. She just doesn't like war at all. She also doubles down on the children dying on both sides argument, which just feels like a way for her to justify her Zionist yet not Zionist opinions. It's really funny though, because she's like, I googled what Zionist was and I don't think I am. Alessandra once again, words her response better than I ever could, saying that Alana should own up to the content she's interacted with and that people holding her accountable don't immediately mean that she's being bullied. Another important sentence she says is, "Your neutrality is a weapon because silence kills people." The conversation then continues about this comment Alana liked on one of her posts. I'll talk about it briefly towards the end of this video, but she once again shifts the blame to anyone but herself, to which Alessandra calls out the fact Alana has been seen interacting with multiple anti-Muslim, almost propaganda-like content, to which she replies, "Oh yes, I do not support illegal immigration or anything illegal, as what you said, turning a blind eye to things such as rape is not good. Hearing that report on multiple young girls as young as 10 by a illegal immigrant broke my heart. I hope you don't support illegal immigration." God, fucking use a comma for once, goddamn. The fact that the first thing her mind thinks of when hearing illegal immigrant is just makes it clear how messed up her point of view is. It's such a common argument European right-wing parties use. I've heard it in actual campaigns here, and it's so fucking insane. Almost every woman has a story. Most of those stories were caused by people within the direct vicinity of the victim. Many people still associate rape with a weird man in a trench coat kidnapping you in the forest, but more often than not, it's friends, it's partners, it's family, it's co-workers. The immigrants' rape narrative is deeply, deeply rooted in stereotypes, and as a victim myself, it just feels like the trauma so many other people have been through is used to just spread hate. Right after that, she also says she is hurt because whether you intended or not, rumors went around and telling how to think is pushing a bias, as if that's not literally what she just did. Alessandra, once again, having the patience of a fucking saint, provides Alana with an article written on the topic and says, "A singular case of an illegal immigrant committing against young girls does not encapsulate or reflect the views or actions of every single immigrant. Generalizing all illegal immigrants as is dangerous, and it's a tactic that has been used throughout history to justify crimes and hatred towards minorities." And once again, Alana doubles down on a lot of her previous claims. Once again, if you want to read the entire conversation, I highly recommend going over to Alessandra's Instagram because it's a lot. One thing I found a little funny though is that she justifies the reels she likes by saying that out of 1,000 reels, I mainly like positive, inspirational, non-political content. And she follows it with a screenshot of her Explore page to show some insight to the person I am. You can be aesthetically pleasing and still be racist. You know that, right? Like, hey guys, I have an aesthetically pleasing feed. I can't be racist. Also, look at all these fucking things I like that are clearly racist. Last thing from this conversation I want to mention is that Alessandra really approached her in a respectful manner. It is clear that she genuinely tried to show Alana why what she's doing is hurting people, especially from the perspective of a black woman like herself. In response, Alana tells her that she is hyperfixating on her race. A black woman trying to educate you on racism is hyperfixating on her own race. Okay. Now, in the grand finale of racism, let's take a look at this, shall we? What do we see here, guys? Because I think we're all seeing the same thing, right? Right? Because what we're seeing here is clearly a crow demon. A crow demon. Now, I can hear the "it's technically not blackface" comments already, mostly because people who support her have been using it in the comments under this video. So I'd like to read out this comment by a user on Instagram. "You all say this without actually understanding what blackface is. Blackface isn't just minstrelsy. It's not 1950. Blackface is a dog whistle in 2025, and the sooner we all start acting like it, the more we can actually process what blackface is and what isn't. Just painting your face black, no, not blackface. But when religion straight up tells you that black skin is caused by sin, and that exact idea is what caused colonialism to prevail, for the manifest destiny to spread across North America, it's very obvious. On top of that, fallen angels don't have red lipstick or perfect blood red lips." Now, as you can see, I am a white person, so I can't be the voice for people of color on this topic because I will never feel the weight of it as heavy as they feel it. But I am, or I'd like to think I am, educated enough to be able to understand that when someone who describes themselves as a white nationalist, a European nationalist, when someone interacts with colorist, Zionist content, when that person paints their face black, make their lips bigger with bright red lipstick, it isn't just a fun crow demon. As I mentioned before, she's also been seen liking some comments on her own posts, in particular a comment saying, "White girls will always be better looking." Yet she denies ever doing so, even going as far as to say that people are editing screenshots to make her look bad. In short, the Australian girl who looks like she stepped out of a 16th century painting ended up being an AI supporting white supremacist. That's a sentence I didn't think I'd have to say. And I'm gonna be honest, when I first saw Alana pop up on my feed, I was very, very happy to see someone like her. I mean, we've all seen the return of skinny talk. We all see how celebrities are rapidly losing weight, how they are rapidly doing plastic surgery to fit into ever-changing beauty standards. It's nice to see someone who looks like they stepped out of a Renaissance painting. Especially nice to see on a platform like TikTok how comments can actually be positive for once. It's amazing to see how a community can form, how artists come together, how a model and artist can collaborate. It's just very, very, very disappointing to see how much hate a person can have. I was extremely shocked when I started reading the conversations because it's insane. In this day and age, in a world with so much hate, how can you be so proud of hating entire groups of people? But once again, I want to thank Alessandra for providing me screenshots as well as proofreading my script, because once again, I am white and pale as a ghost. I can't speak on behalf of people of color, and Alessandra, being a black woman, she approved of my script, and I think that's very important because I don't want to say anything that could cause more harm. Alana, empathy type shit. Saying I hope you enjoyed the video sounds a little fucked up, but I hope this was informative. I hope you learned something new. If you didn't, that's good too. If you use this as background noise, I hope whatever you had it in the background of was productive or fun. And if you use this video to fall asleep, I hope you're having a good night's rest. Even though this is not the best video to have while falling asleep, I think, because I don't know what kind of dreams you're gonna have, but that aside. Yeah, I had fun writing again. I might be doing this again, so we'll see where this goes. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video.